Hello, everyone. Welcome to New Gen Politics. So, Trump just met with Biden at the White House, and they both said that there's going to be a smooth transition of power, which is great because this kind of just puts a whole, bookend, nice little bow on this whole Trump saga leading up to this the last 4 years. And you couldn't have asked for anything better, right? Both sides have agreed to cooperate. They're going to be nice. They're going to be on good terms. Congratulations, thank yous, all very simple, right? I think that's going to be maintained through the transition period. I think it's actually going to go smoothly. And I think it's a nice bookend, right? It's a bookend to this whole saga with Trump for the last 4 years. But it doesn't mean everything is over. It doesn't mean all the problems are over. Kind of just the end of one book, start of another, right? End of one war, start of another. And I see two real problems going forward for Trump. The first one, odds are maybe not as strong as the second one, which you may find interesting. So first, one of the biggest problems Trump might encounter was the same thing that happened last time. Constant attack from the Democrats, attempts to remove him, slander him, make up stories, whatever, right? The reason I think that's not even as likely is a lot of the mechanisms of control that they had to go after Trump, they're not in charge of anymore, right? Republicans have the Senate. They're poised to win the House, have the presidency, have the Supreme Court. They have now control of the FBI, CIA. Kind of Trump's going to go in and gut those. They have more control over like the education system, all these certain avenues, right? So it's going to be a lot harder for the Democrats to pose any argument. And also, I think the Democrats are just tired. I think they really got hit by a flashbang with this election. They have no idea what to do. So they're going to go back to the drawing board, and they don't really have like a solid plan, a unity. Everyone's pointing fingers at each other, both in the party, among the demographics who typically make up the Democratic coalition. Everybody's pointing fingers about what happened. Why did Trump win? Why did Kamala lose? Whose fault is this? And it doesn't seem they really understand what went wrong. Along with this, the main mechanism that the Democrats used to go after Trump and encourage people to not like Trump was the media, right? Well, this last week following the election, across the board, MSNBC, CNN, all of these places have lost around 50% of their audience. Really bad numbers. And it kind of just says that, a lot of people realize they were being lied to. Not in the sense that they were being lied to about the policy, that they're now all Republican or conservative. No, they realized that when CNN and the host got on there and said Trump had a 0% chance of winning, that when they said X, Y, and Z gimmick's going to work, Liz Cheney, Nikki Haley, those voters, whatever, right? The Tim Walz loading a shotgun, Tim Walz playing video games, Kamala being brat. All of these things are going to work. The celebrity endorsements, well, it didn't. None of them worked. It was a complete and total disaster, humiliating disgrace. Basically, the Democrats came into your house via the TV and they sat you down. They said, everything's fine. It's fine. We got this. It's okay. Don't worry. We're going to win. Don't even worry about it, right? Everything's under control. Not only is it under control, she's going to have a historic win. Trump's going to be humiliated. The Republicans will never win again. And they got totally lies. And they knew it. And they knew it was a lie. And so now people don't even trust the mainstream media, even the Democrats, because they realize they were being lied to, even about the positions they support and how many other people in the country actually support those positions. So I think the Democrats will start going to more independent media, like what the Republicans had been doing for a long time, podcasts, YouTube channels like this one, Twitter, other stuff, right? So that media, way of control is also slipping through their fingers. They expended a lot of political capital on this one. They did the last 4 years, and now especially trying to get Kamala elected, rammed her through, no actual process. No one actually wanted her. Her policies weren't good. Her ideas weren't good. She wasn't a good candidate. And they threw everything they had, and it didn't work. So I think Democrats are kind of in shambles. I think actually the biggest enemy now, right, like the new war, that's the side I thought maybe, 50-50 chance they do the same lawfare, they go after him again, whatever. What I think will really, really happen, the biggest problem of the next 4 years, Republicans. I think the biggest problem that Trump is going to encounter is going to be the ongoing Republican Civil War, a civil war that was put on hold for the last 8 years. It started with Trump. It ended in about 3 months after he won the primary, and it was Trump's party ever since. And underneath the surface, everyone has had to bend the knee to Trump, but underneath the surface, there's been an ongoing war between the neocons and the populists, the MAGA people. And so now Trump's on a clock, right? 4 years left. And then we're going to have another actual, kind of civil war, another full primary. Who's going to win? Which side of the Republican Party? And that's going to be going on in his cabinet. He's appointed some people who have some ties, who are, relatively neocons. They may be qualified for the position, but they still carry their ideology. You're still having to deal with, now like the Senate, who, is the Senate majority leader, was an ever-Trumper. Mike Johnson's been kind of iffy on Trump stuff. You could see a lot of what you saw in 2016, where the Congress just doesn't do anything Trump wants. And I think it's going to be worse than 2016 because now we have control of Twitter. You can say, basically whatever you want about what's going on. Congressmen, apparently there's been internal complaints from congressmen that they're not ready for this level of like harassment from their constituents. But you can obviously see that by the fact that they had a hidden vote on who should be the Senate majority leader. Yeah. Remember the transparency? Yeah. Apparently the senators had a hidden vote, so you don't know who voted for whom. Don't they work for us? Shouldn't we know that who our government officials that we elected are electing? Shouldn't that be transparent? Well, the Republicans are back to their old tricks again, and that's the neocons in action. And so what we're going to see is the majority of Americans now are on of the conservative side, right? Republicans are the MAGA populists, and they are going to, I think, be very concerned with the ongoing presence of the neocons. The neocons have already said they're going to try to get power back. They're going to try to post-Trump, put up a candidate, reclaim the Republican Party, send it back to the good old Bush days, not good at all, obviously. But that's what they want. They want to co-opt MAGA, turn it back into just the neocon rhino Republicans. And that is going to be a fight for sure in government. It's going to, I think, slow down everything Trump wants to do. I think it's going to kind of really show the flaws in our party systems in general. I think it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a really interesting fight. And what's good is we have some precedent now to deal with these issues, right? McCarthy was removed from the position of Speaker of the House. That's good because that sets precedent of if now the Senate Majority Leader or the House Majority Leader, if either one of them is not doing what they should be doing, if they're not bringing bills forward that should be brought forward, if they're wanting people to go against Trump, if they're bad-mouthing Trump, if they're whatever, right? They're not doing what their constituents want, then they're going to be removed. And even Charlie Kirk said this, someone with a lot of political capital and influence in the Republican Party said, if they're not doing what they should be doing, we should protest. We should call them. We should, send them emails. And I think there's going to also be people in Trump's cabinet, like Elon and Vivek and other people who will march into their office and say, what are you doing? Right? Like, why are you not on board? Why are you doing all these neocon things? And it's going to be a fight. I think that's going to be the biggest problem over these next 4 years. I think the Democrats, they're done, right? They got to go off season. They got to go back and train and get some new candidates. They got to figure out what they're doing. They've lost a ton of their political capital. Like I said, the media, they've lost control of the institutions. All their government agencies are going to be ripped apart. These corporations that support Democrats big time are going to be gutted. The DEI is going to be killed. So Democrats have their own problems to worry about. And now Republicans, we're going to be suffering from success, right? We brought a coalition together. The Republican Party is unified for the last decade behind Trump, begrudgingly. And we finally won. It's over, right? Like it's the end of Trump's era. There's a clock on that. And what comes next is now like everybody looks around and says, well, we all came here together, we worked together, but ultimately we really do want different things. And so Now they're going to have to fight it out to see which of those ideas is going to withstand. I obviously think that the more populist MAGA side will, reign out. I think it will actually go even further right over time. But still, our politicians, our institutions, people like Mitch McConnell and all his goons and everybody he has handpicked is going to be an obstacle in the way of progress for the Republican Party. So that's my thought on this. I think that I'm glad to see that Biden is, having a good, peaceful transition here. I think that's appropriate. I think those issues are going to be mostly in the past. I could be wrong. Obviously, you never really know what's going to happen in politics because, it's run by people. So we'll see what happens, but I'm optimistic. I think we can't let our guard down, though. I think there's a lot of issues that are going to be uprooted, and there's going to be a lot of conflicts that we've just never talked about within the Republican Party, and a lot of coalitions that'll be built between far left people, far right people. I think there is some common ground there that now has room to grow some more anti-establishment, anti-party rhetoric that we can make some coalitions behind. I really think that's possible. So I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to see how things get switched up and what Trump wants to get done. So far, the agenda looks good. Some of his picks are really great. Some of them are, make me scratch my eyebrows a little bit, but we'll have to see. So thank you for watching. I appreciate it. If you like the video, like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next one.